Hey, lovelies. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So, as promised, testing a new schedule. Monday was the day for, my reality television recaps. I touched on the first three episodes of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, season three, with the women being in Thailand. I also reviewed episode four of Queens of R&B with Escape and SWV. And I also put out a video running through the hot topics such as Jonathan Majors being arrested and being charged with domestic violence in New York City, Chelsea, Manhattan to be exact. Blac Chyna's, spiritual transformation and returning to who she is at the core, Angela White, as well as there was some other topics I touched on, but those were like the main topics. And today I'm going to be looking at Blac Chyna's birth chart, as you can see on the screen, and we're just going to be exploring some aspects in her chart that point to her spiritual awakening and her spiritual ascension and evolution that we're seeing play out publicly. So be sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure you comment below, let me know what you think. I love when y'all talk about y'all personal placements for those of you that are familiar with astrology and you have a good handle and understanding on your chart. And if you are not somebody that's so familiar, but you're like, yo, this shit is mad cool. I want to learn more about it. You definitely join my Patreon because I have intentions starting in the month of April, which is in a matter of days, to start rolling out more educational and informational videos. So a lot of you have been asking for like a breakdown of the houses, a breakdown of the nodes, the certain transits, and how that's gonna, impact through the houses. So I'm gonna start using Patreon for more videos such as that, as well as you know, early releases and stuff sometimes because I bulk record a lot. But if you want to book your own personal session with me, you can feel free to go to my booking site, which will be pinned in the comments as well as in the description box. And this is the screen that you will see. And as you can see, I do natal written birth charts. I do transit reports and I also do life purpose readings. I also have a background in cognitive behavioral therapy as a social worker. So I do spiritual life coaching sessions as well as packages. So if you're interested in that, you can also shoot me an email prior to purchasing if you have any questions and you need anything clarified, okay? So enough with the church announcements. Let's get to the fun stuff. I'm excited. Okay. So the first thing that I want to touch on is in astrology, there is something called a north node and a south node, okay? As you can see, this is Blac Chyna's personal natal chart, okay? So right here where you see that it says north node, you see that she has it in the sign of Pisces. So this means that in this lifetime, Blac Chyna's soul has agreed to, intricate Pisces energy and those themes of Pisces into her everyday life. Now, whatever sign that you have on the North Node in your birth chart, the opposite sign of that astrological sign is going to be on the South Node. So, because Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, we can infer that Blac Chyna has her South Node in Virgo. Now, the South Node is indicative of your comfort zone, energy that you've already mastered, energy that you're naturally going to show up in until you start to be more intentional and conscious about, how you want to show up and how you want to present and what energy you want to exude. So what's interesting is to start with her nodal placements is people that have a Pisces north node and she has it at the second degrees. I notice people that have Pisces and Virgo on the south node, they tend to come from a background where they could have been the rebel, where they could have been someone that like always felt like they were different or always felt like they stood out, and they could have even pursued paths to where they did something that was expected of them and they tried to just go along to get along. But somewhere over the line, something about their lifestyle caused like a mental or an emotional upset. And that's where that North Node and Pisces energy comes in. Because usually, from my personal experience, individuals that I deal with that are really evolved and they step into their Pisces North Node, they become more spiritual. So they'll start off in that Virgo energy, right? Virgo is an earth sign. So what does earth deal with? It deals with material, it deals with values, right? It deals with the physical, it deals with the superficiality of the matrix, okay? So they start off like really, paving a path that's in alignment with, well, what is expected of me? Okay, I'm supposed to be making six figures and up. I'm supposed to have the house at the top of the hill. I'm supposed to be driving this car. It's all about the appearances, because Virgo is a very self-conscious and self-critical sign. And it's very interesting because people that have prominent Virgo energy, they could be very private, and they can like unintentionally, but it's still kind of intentional, curate a narrative that they want you to like cling on to. And it's like, okay, I expect this from this person, but at the same time of being self-critical and dotting their I's and crossing their T's as it pertains to how they show up in their lowest octaves. People with Virgo placements that are prominent, such as like your sun or your moon or your Mars or on your nose or even your midhaven, right? Like those key points where it's like your midhaven deals with your public perception and how people will remember you and how they will perceive you and what you're known for. Your sun is your ego. So this is what you feel most comfortably presenting, and then your moon is your truest expression, and then your nodes, those are your karmic checkpoints where you're constantly trying to find that balance between, I'm comfortable with this south node energy, but I have a soul mission to integrate this north node energy. So where can I meet in the middle? So it's interesting because I find that people that have these Virgo placements, they're so big on being perfectionists and presenting a certain type of energy. But if they haven't mastered those higher octaves of that Virgo energy yet, they'll be a hot ass mess at the same time. Somebody that comes to mind when I think about this placement is like a Nicki Minaj, because she is a perfectionist and she will go to great lengths to present that picture perfect Barbie persona, but at the same time, simultaneously, she'll let her slip show. So it's that interesting energy. And that's where I say Virgo energy can be rebellious, because you have to think about it. Virgo represents like purity in the virgin, but there's always two different polarities to any energy, right? So if Virgo is known for purity and the virgin and youth, then what is on and being neat, right? And being organized and being orderly, and even you could bring discipline into that, right? On the opposite end, what would be the negative octaves of Virgo, right? So it's very interesting, and it's also mutable energy, right? Mutable energy, as in Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini, that's considered mutable energy, because depending on the contextualizing factors, right, internally and externally, that's going to determine how that sign presents. Whereas with fixed energy, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, there's two octaves to all the signs, right? But you're more likely, what you see is what you get. They can shapeshift a little bit if they find that it works in their favor, but that mass is going to fall and they're going to default back to their settings because they're fixed anyways. Even if they want it to be flexible, that's going to be a task in itself. So with her having her north node in Pisces, and especially having it at the second degree, which can be linked to the moon, right? The moon deals with maternity, the moon deals with motherhood, right? And Pisces deals with institutions, Pisces deals with mental health, right? And she also has her moon at the 25th degrees of Pisces. I really infer two things. Okay. I feel like her relationship with her mom has really tapping into this Pisces energy on her North Node, because I feel like Blac Chyna is getting to a point, especially when things didn't go her way in court, her daughter's name for being trademarked. I think Blac Chyna really got like a rude awakening that the things that I've been focusing on, like, would free me from the generational curses of, me and my mother's dynamic, and would set a better future. Virgo, earthly possessions, sign themes, that really doesn't matter. Like, I've made all this money, I've been with these men, I've done this, I've done that, but it hasn't done anything for me on a spiritual level. So in comes that spiritual Pisces North Node. Another thing is Saturn, which is a generational planet that deals with karma, right? Which can deal with frictions, which deals with growing up, maturing, shitting or getting off the pot. It just entered Pisces, which is the same sign as her North Node. So wherever she has Pisces in her chart, okay, this is really, she's really getting hit with that energy of, I need to mature. Something has to give. There is something that I need to sacrifice, that I need to forego, that I need to give up in an effort to step into this new chapter. Okay. I also feel like with her having her Saturn, her Uranus, and her Neptune now, her Saturn and Uranus are at very early degrees of Capricorn. She has her Uranus at the 0 degree, and she has her Saturn at the 1st degree. Neptune is at the 9th degree, so that I could definitely say, okay, that's probably in Capricorn. And these are generational planets, so these are slow moving planets. Pluto has been sitting in Capricorn since 2008. Okay. Pluto has been sitting in Capricorn since 2008. And when you have Neptune in Capricorn, Neptune deals with like our duty to the universe, to us, like to the physical plane, in a sense. Like, how are we going to contribute to the physical plane? How are we going to work to make the physical plane better? Because Neptune governs over Pisces, and Pisces deals with service and compassion and all that good stuff, right? With Pluto leaving Capricorn and now entering the same sign as her Mars, right? Which deals with her passion. What does Aquarius deal with? It's humanitarianism. It's the opposite of Leo. So it's not ego based, it's more heart centered. It's more community based. It's more considering the needs and the wants of others. It also can deal with, because Aquarius deals with technology and it deals with the internet, with Pluto entering the same sign as her Mars, and Mars dealing with her passion, even with her Mars being at the 23rd degrees, right? 2 plus 3 is 5, right? So with that 5 energy, the 5th house, that's Leo energy, okay? Leo deals with fame, Leo deals with recognition, Leo deals with spotlight. So with Pluto, a powerful planet that deals with death, rebirth, the phoenix that rises from the ashes, big transformation, okay? And you have it entering the sign of Aquarius that deals with technology and the internet. This can deal with Blac Chyna becoming passionate, or a passion that has been resting in her, especially with her having her North Node in Pisces, coming full circle, and it finally being revealed to her that she does her best when she's working on herself and then figuring out how she can pay it forward and help others, which is what she has been doing. She's been educating women as she's been removing her tattoos that mean, low vibrational things, taking her fillers out, educating women, if you're going to go and get surgery, this is the type of, surgery you should be getting. You should be getting a fat transfer instead of doing this. So This deals with that. Even with her having her North Node in Pisces, right? Another way to look at this is Pisces can deal with beauty standards to a certain degree because Neptune governs over Pisces and Neptune deals with beauty, right? So that's really interesting because Neptune has been sitting in Pisces for quite some time. And I feel like Neptune will be in Pisces till like 2026. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm 1 year off. It could be 2025. But that's another thing with Neptune entering Pisces, which is the same sign as her moon in North Node. That can also deal with China being one of the how do you say it? One of the trailblazers and one of like the founders of a beauty standard. Remember, Blac Chyna was the first person that had those long bangs where you could really see her eyes, and then she had the piercings in her cheek, and she was a well-known stripper. Her glamorized that culture and made it. Alexis Scott came shortly after. Like I said, after Alexis Scott and Masika, I stopped keeping up with the girls. I kind of kept up with Jada and Ari, but that's it. Any other girls that's coming behind, I don't know. You have, but so that's a to with her having her Pisces, her being a trailblazer for beauty trends. But once again, her Mars is in Aquarius. Her Mars is in Aquarius. So instead of it being ego centered and, well, how can this elevate me? Now she's using the same thing that made her famous, and she's evolving and navigating through it and growing through it. And that's where that Mars and Aquarius and Pluto entering the same sign comes in, and it's been helping her. The biggest thing when it comes to her spiritual journey is that she has her sun at the 21st degree of Taurus. She also has her Jupiter in Taurus. Now, remember, I told you about the nodes. We all have a north node and a south node in our birth chart, and then there's the collective north node and the collective south node that we all feel. So when you go to astrochart.com and you put your birthday in and you put your time of birth and your place of birth or whatever the case may be, this is how your chart is going to look. Collectively, there's a chart like this too. You understand what I'm saying? For the Western hemisphere. So according to Western astrology, according to tropical astrology, which is what we follow here on the Western hemisphere, the collective north node, right, that we're currently experiencing is in Taurus, and the collective south node that we're currently experiencing is in Scorpio. Why? Because Scorpio is the opposite of Taurus. So if you have Taurus on your north node in your natal chart, you're going through your nodal return. If you have Taurus on your south node in your natal chart, you're going through your inverse nodal return. Okay, it's the opposite. So for Blac Chyna to have the transiting north node probably at this point conjunct her sun, because she's more of a later degree Taurus sun, and as Taurus begins to ingress into Aries, it's at its final degrees. Once again, this could bring to a head what she's been working on in private. You understand what I'm saying? Even with the 21 breaking down to a 3, and that being Jupiter energy, but it also could be third house energy, which is Gemini energy, and it deals with communications, right? This can deal with when the North Node degrees got close to her natal degrees. She just started posting a lot. Well, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking these fillers out. I'm removing this tattoo, and this tattoo means this, and it equals this number, and this is what it symbolized. So it can speak to that. Even with her having her Jupiter at the 15th degree at the 14th degree of Taurus, which breaks down to a 5. Once again, that's Mercury energy, so that's communications, and it's also fifth house energy, which is Leo. Some people say look to Jupiter in your chart to see how you gain your abundance, right? Look to Jupiter. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Where'd it go? Look up. Am I on the wrong one? Whose chart? Not Rihanna. Hold on. My bad, y'all. Okay, Blac Chyna. Y'all let me know if y'all want a Rihanna birth chart reading. We could do that too. Maybe that was a sign. That was a sign. But yeah, some people say you look to Jupiter, right? You look to Jupiter when you want to figure out what is the best way to tap into your abundance. You also look to your ninth house. So again, with her having Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter deals with our faith and it deals with our belief systems when it comes to philosophy, spirituality, and religion. So once again, she could have had like some spiritual awakening or some epiphany where she realized the key to internal abundance, right, which will allow me to create external abundance, is to like purify myself. People that have Taurus on the North Node, and I've spoken about this before because my mother was a Taurus North Node. People, Lauren London is another Taurus North Node, and this is a good example. People that tend to have Taurus on the North Node and they have Scorpio on the South Node, they usually in the early part of their lives, they're either caught up in situations where they don't have control. They may be victims of extreme circumstances where they're being, held captive emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sexually. They may have a lot of karma tied to death. Maybe they've had a lot of near death experiences or have had death up close and personal from certain trauma. Whatever the case may be, there's usually something that takes place that pushes them to that Taurus North Node. And like I said, Lauren London is a perfect example of this. Nipsey Hussle died, and she has been going through her grief experience and her spiritual experience, and the way that it perpetuates and reads to the public, because she's a public figure, is she's rebranded to like this spiritual, I don't want to say guru, but the grieving girlfriend, the grieving widow who has been leaning into holistic and spiritual practices to heal. You understand? She's leaned into that. And my mom was another one. My mom got heavy into Christianity where we didn't really celebrate Halloween and Easter and Christmas, and if we did, she did it from a very biblical place. So when you're dealing with people that have Taurus placements, especially like Jupiter in Taurus, this can deal with, number one, you naturally being put in alignment to anything that you touched it. I don't want to say anything that you touch turns to gold, but you're very pragmatic and you're very practical about creating financial abundance and multiplying it and sustaining it. And again, because Blac Chyna has her North Node in Pisces, she's choosing, or she's in alignment with the spiritual aspect. Because I think Candy Burris is another one who has her Jupiter in Taurus, but she has a lot more placements in Taurus, so it shows up differently. And she also has Capricorn placements. But with Blac Chyna, I feel like because she has her moon in Pisces and she has her North Node in Pisces and whatnot. Another thing is Mars has been in Gemini for 8 months. It just recently left and entered Cancer, right? Her Chiron is in Gemini. Okay, and Gemini deals with communications. It could deal with early childhood, relationships with cousins and people in your immediate surroundings. It also can deal with media. You understand? So she had that nasty tit for tat with the Kardashians. Her mom is always coming down to social media and communicating certain things about her. And even like with her having her Venus at the 28th degree of Gemini, Venus deals with partnerships and it deals with relationships. That 28 breaks down to a 10, which is one energy, which is sun energy. So this could speak to a lot of aspects, good, bad, horrible, and different, in regards to her relationships playing out in the media, playing out for public consumption, being communicated on public platforms. You understand? So maybe her having Mars and Gemini, or all of us were experiencing it for 8 months, which is really unusual because Mars is a quick moving planet. It don't stay in a sign that long. That could have really shined a light on things from her childhood, Mercury, her relationships, things that bring her pleasure, Venus, and then her Chiron, which is by way of addressing and navigating my wounds. I'm helping other people who have similar wounds heal this as well. So those are some things in her birth chart that I feel like have really laid the groundwork for what we're seeing in regards to her spiritual journey. And if you would like to hear just my commentary on the matter, please be sure to check out my video I posted yesterday where I spoke about, her spiritual journey and her now going by Angela White. And I'm interested to see where this goes. I feel like Saturn entering Pisces, it's playing a big part in her finally tapping into that Pisces North Node energy. And I'm just excited. I'm excited. I have a cousin that's a Pisces North Node, and it was the same thing with her. She used to be a celebrity hairstylist. Some of y'all may know her, Hadia Barbell, and she still does celebrity hair, but she changed the way in which she did it. She got really depressed being in the industry and being around that energy, and she's a Sagittarius like me. She's very spiritual, and she will still do hair, but now it's more a holistic and spiritual experience, and she doesn't really lead with that, and she calls them crowns, and it's just a different experience. So Blac Chyna can still continue to be a beauty icon and be a fixture in pop culture, but it's going to be interesting to see her now lead with a different disposition over what she wants to perpetuate and represent. And I'm happy for her. We all deserve growth. We all deserve moments of reflection. Some of us don't get them. Sometimes the decisions and the mistakes and the choices we make, we got to carry them with us, and I'm sure she has things that she has to carry with her, but as long as she walks with what she feels she's an extension of, she'll be okay. She'll be better than okay. So y'all hit the thumbs up. Let me know what y'all thought about this. If y'all would like to book your own personal session, you can. Please, when you book with me, be sure to send the information that you're supposed to send, which is like your time of birth, your day of birth, and your place of birth. Please send that, because I went to start a report today and I don't even have the information that I need. And that's how you lose your spot in line. There's a 4 to 6 week turnaround. I try to get them back earlier, and I have, but when shit like this happens, it slows me down. So please send what you're supposed to send. Y'all have a good day. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up, comment below, let me know what you think. Talk to you later. Bye.